Hey everybody, Tony here with Random Likes. I am out in my garage today. Uh, got a bunch of boxes here that the Amazon Santa Claus brought me. It is a trolling motor and all the accoutrements to go with it: batteries, lights, wiring, uh, all that good stuff. But before I get into that, I want to take a moment and say thank you to all the new subscribers out there. Thank you to all the subscribers who have supported me thus far. It isn't going to open itself, so let's go ahead and get started. Before I move on and get to the first thing here, I just want to mention that I am putting this on my Hobie PA12. This would work for other kayaks as well. There might be a few minor tweaks you need to do, like the mounting bracket is specific for a PA12 and a PA14. You might choose a different battery. You may not have the spotlight like I'm going to put on. So this will work for lots of other options. Just understanding how to mount your trolling motor for your kayak, some of the different pieces that you need. That's really what I'm here for today. So don't think if you don't have a PA12, this won't be useful for you. The first thing you got to do when you get a trolling motor is you got to have the juice, right? You got to have a battery. You got to have a power source. I'll show you what I went with, but really you could use lots of different ones. You don't have to use a lithium battery like I'm using. You could use a deep cycle battery temporarily. You could probably even use a car battery. They are not really made for that long term, but they will work. There's lots of different thoughts. There's different sizes of batteries. There's different amp hours of batteries. And really it's to be particular to what you're going to do. I'd like to go out all day, long distances. I got a little bit heavier one, so I want it to at least last me 12 hours is what I'm shooting for. At not necessarily full speed, but at about 4 miles per hour, which is what the trolling motor should be able to do on my kayak. And I thank to my brother for suggesting this. Once again, I always mention his name. Thanks to him. He has already bought one. He's been using it for about a year. He really likes it, so I trust his judgment. So that's why I went ahead and bought the same. So this is a Lifetime battery. It's a lithium-ion battery. It's a 100 amp hour battery, and it's 12.8 volts. If you select the link for this battery in the description, it will take you to the website, and you can enter RandomLikes as your code on checkout, and you'll get 3% off. Okay, so in the box, first and foremost, some stickers. Now, not the most important thing, but a manual. Also, there are post bolts that came with it that we're going to show you here in a second. And then, of course, the battery. Set that aside. Okay, so here's the battery. I did have to put these post bolts in here. They're about that. They're at that size. It came with 4, so in case you need extra, you got extra. These are just caps you can use to keep them clean. I went ahead and put them on, and also easily identify positive versus negative. As you can see, this battery looks about the same size as your standard automotive battery. But one thing that's nice about it, you can see how narrow it is here. Let's see, I'll put the dimensions somewhere around here. But yeah, so it's a little bit lighter, and it's a little bit lighter. I think it's about 19 pounds. I'll double check that weight as well. And the great thing about this lithium battery is, in most of them, double check manufacturers, but this one did specifically say you can store it on its side, like so, which is how I plan on putting it on my kayak for space purposes. You can also store it upside down. So that's why I went with this one, went with the lithium. They are a little bit more expensive than your standard battery, but you get a little bit more out of them. They last longer, and for this one itself, it's much lighter than the other batteries, and that's important when you're on a kayak. You don't need to be adding hundreds of pounds at a time, right? Which little amount of the ways we can, just for speed, and also there is a limit on kayaks, so make sure you check your weight limit before you start adding a bunch of stuff. All right, let's go ahead and we'll get to the next box. All right, box number 2. You guys just saw the battery, so the next thing you need to have is something to charge it, right? Depending on what type of battery you have, you may already have a charger. I got this one. I was needing an upgraded battery charger anyway, just for my trailer, my kayak. The nice thing about this one is it actually can charge lithium, so you need to make sure your battery charger can charge a lithium battery. It can charge lithium, lead acid battery, so your standard car battery. It does have a repair option, which I've heard good things about these, where it can kind of repair, desulfate some of your lead acid batteries. So this is just a 20 amp, 12 volt, 24 volt automatic battery charger and maintainer. So you can go as little as 3 amps to up to 20 amps charging rate. But yeah, so just make sure that if you get a lithium ion battery, your battery charger is capable of charging it. I would hate to see anybody waste that kind of money on a lithium ion battery and not put the money into a nice battery charger. So this is also one that was recommended, and I got it because I needed a new one anyway. And if you watch my trailer video on the kayak trailer, I also have just a lead acid battery on that. And so it will charge my lead acid battery on my trailer. It will charge my smaller lead acid battery for my depth finder, and it will charge this larger lithium ion battery. So I have one charger that does it all. Something to look into. Once again, link in the description. To get that battery juice to the trolling motor, you gotta have some sort of conduit. So I've got some 8 gauge wire here. The reason I went with 8 gauge is because it's just a little bit thicker. I don't want to have any resistance built up, cause any heat problems with my battery or my trolling motor. So I went a little bit thicker. I'll run this from my trolling motor to my battery, and with this in between, which is a upside down Red Wolf 60 amp circuit breaker, automotive and marine grade, so it's waterproof, as you can see here. So I got a breaker just in case there's any further issues, help prevent that as well. Covering all my bases, not gonna spend this much money. And then here I've got some, one second here while I get this open here. Some quick connects. All right, so here I've got some quick connects, and just go like that. Once I get all these in here and put in there, you gotta solder them, and I'll be able to easily connect and disconnect my batteries, and then I can take it and charge it. So that's what I've got that for. Let me put this away and get on to the next thing in the box. So depending on your state regulation, my state regulation requires that I have to have if I have an electric motor, I'm required to have navigation lights, green and red. I already have a rear 360 light. I had to have that for kayaking tournaments anyway, so I just need to have these. I will be wiring these directly into my battery with a switch once the switch comes. Haven't got it yet. So I'll be putting a switch on the kayak so I can turn these on and off really easily without having to move around, and then I can just charge my battery. So those are the nav lights. It has nothing to do with the trolling motor whatsoever. However, I did order me a cover for my kayak just to keep the rain off, the dirt, things like that when it's heavy downpour. Mostly when I'm traveling or I have it stored. So I'll put a link in the description for that too. But it was in the box, so I figured, why not show you? The next box, that. And that. Get out of the way. Quick release bracket, so I can take the trolling motor on and off really easily, because I'm not planning on leaving it on there. Oh yes, this is one of the most important things. This is one of the most important things. It is the spot lock, so I can hook that up. All right, and then I'm just gonna grab this other box real quick. One of the last things is the mounting bracket from One Objective. Then also from Harbor Freight, I'll show you how I'm gonna make this work. But this is gonna be my battery box. It's quite large. You'll see why I chose it here in a minute. Because I've already using the crate kayak, or I'm sorry, the crate that will fit right on here and come off. All right, so the last thing is the trolling motor. Let's go ahead and open it up. All right. This box is much larger than I thought it was going to be. Very well packaged, though. There you have it. All right. Okay, there it is. You see here, it's going to go in the front of my kayak. And then, normally you would just hook these two to the batteries, but that's what I said. I got all the extra stuff too. So, all right. Let's get the kayak up here and get rolling. So the first thing I'm going to do with the kayak trolling motor is I've got my one objective mount here, and I've got a quick release bracket for the motor guide. So I'm going to go ahead and take this out of the box, and I'll attach the piece here that goes onto the one objective mount, and then I'll show you how it works, and then you'll attach the motor to this, and then you'll be able to pull it out. So the one objective already has the 4 holes here to attach this to make it easier. So we're gonna go ahead and do that. So it kind of comes with a quick directions here. You can see it has the top plate, the pins, this plate that connects to the boat, or in my case, it'll connect to the one objective mount. And see how that pulls apart there. You pull the pin out, you can take the whole trolling motor out. Okay, so I added this to the top here. Make sure I got it all in right before I tighten everything down. But it feels like those are gonna hit, but I'm not sure. So I'm gonna take this off. These are like an Allen wrench. Appear to be 6mm. We're gonna go ahead and take these off. And they provide you with new bolts here to replace these that are longer. I'm gonna go ahead and take these off here. Next, you'll need to remove, there's 2 screws here to take this off. I'm not sure if I'll actually need to take off the bungee or not, so we're gonna look here in a second. Okay, so here's the original bolt right here. Comes with 3 different sizes. I'm just thinking about the thickness of this. I think I'm gonna use the largest one they have, because I am gonna put the handle back on it for now. Okay, so what I did on the handle was there's just a little bit of leftover plastic, probably just from manufacturing, right inside the hole here, if you can see that. And so that bolt wasn't really sliding in where it gets from the threads here. So I just took a 5/16 drill bit and drilled a little bit out, and now they slide in there really easily. So you might have to do that on your handle. I don't think there's nothing from one objective. It was just a little bit of leftover from probably the kayak when it was manufactured. So not a big deal at all. So I'm just gonna line this up here. I'm actually gonna have to do this. Get it started here first. That one's in. Get this one started. See if these are the right size. That's hitting a little bit. So these bolts are hitting up here. These are fine because they're up here. these bolts back here are hitting on the plastic. So I may have to make an adjustment to that. Use a smaller bolt. So you can kind of see right here, if it'll let you here. As you right there, those bolts are hitting, so I need to get a little bit shorter bolts here so they're not rubbing a hole in the plastic. So that's why I always test fit everything. Okay, so what I ended up doing, since it didn't come with extra bolts, I ended up bolting them all down like so. And then I cut these two off so they wouldn't hit when I put it up like this. So these bolts came with the motor guide bracket. They are 50 millimeters. So I'd say I cut off at least 5. So motor guide, if you could throw in 2 extra 40 millimeters and 2 extra 45 millimeters, that'd be helpful. So, all right, so now I'm gonna go ahead and mount this up here. One thing you should note that if I haven't already said it, when you're working with plastic, you never want to over tighten. It'll strip it out real easy or pull it right out of the plastic. So take your time, go slow, make sure you don't over tighten. I also like to go back and forth each side, slowly tighten each side. And next we will attach these up here, attach those back. So I'll get the screws out for that. So here's the previous screws. This is what one objective sends you to replace them. So I definitely reuse the washer so you don't rip that out. And then you just gotta put it back through the hole here. Easy. All right, that feels pretty good. And that's the still open up just like that. Next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna mount top plate. Sits into here like that. And then so go in here, somewhere there, like so. And that locks that motor on. So we've got to put that, got to put a little piece right here. We've got to bolt the motor to these. So here I want to do a delete kit for my rod holders. And I'm just going to build one out of some stuff I got laying around. And then I'm going to put a quick attach plug here and a light switch for my navigation lights. Okay, we've taken the rod tube out. The back side of the rod tube was this bracket to hold it together, screw it together. And then in between those two is this. I think I'm going to eliminate this and just put silicone on it. They make rod delete tubes or rod delete kits, but I didn't order one. So I've got this thin piece of plastic. It's a little cutting board from like Dollar Tree. And then we'll cut us out template here for each side with the scroll saw. Got it set up over here. And then we will, on the one side, once we get it cut side, we'll put a quick attach in it for the motor. And then we'll also add a, can't really see it, but it's a light switch. That'll be for my nav lights. So let's get to tracing. The next thing to do is do our quick plug here. Apparently I can't see it here. No. That's why I got it upside down. There we go. That's going to go in here. I don't have any battery, I don't have any juice here yet. Just kind of getting a measurement. I've got the trolling motor all mounted. Give myself a little extra line. Thinking that should be more than enough. I'm going to cut this here. Pull these apart. So I've got the two ends. Red is positive, black is negative. Take these off, and then we can connect them. Okay, so here's the motor guide bracket. It's got place for bolts right here on the bottom. So you got to align these bolts up with those slots. You can do two positions, position farther back or position farther forward. I'm choosing to go to the second one, not all the way back. It feels like that's too far forward. So I'm going to double check that. If that changes, I'll put something right here. You do have to take off the side bracket here. There's one screw, and then this pops off slowly. And that way you can tighten down your bolts. A better idea of what it looks like here. So what I'll do is I'll tighten down these three, and then I'll flip it over, and then put it on the other side. And put the cover back on, then flip it over to the other side. Almost forgot, this holds your pin in. That makes it a quick release. You want to make sure you put that in, get that lined up. Put that through there, and that'll keep that in place. You can see here these have little tabs on them. So to get these out, just trying to get there. Kind of slide into the hole, both of these, and just kind of push it back. And then you'll tighten that one there. All right, so we've got this all mounted on here. See the motor guide plate here, the one objective plate here, all bolted down. Attach a plate on the bottom. Slides on there, as easy as that. And now it's locked into place. So I have a few more things to do. I've got the Pinpoint that's going to go inside of here, so I'll have to take this back off. Also, we need to attach the prop. Then to take it back off, and you want to put it away, just pull this out, like so. Take it back off. Time to install the prop. First thing you want to do is put that pin in there. And it's got the back side here. You can see where it's slotted. You want to put that on there, kind of line it up. Be pretty good close. Then a washer. And the nut. Get it to about where it's tight. And then put on about a quarter of a turn. It should be about perfect. So that's done. Next is going to be syncing the remote. In order to connect the remote to here, I had to quickly connect it to the battery. You'll hear one beep. Then you hold these two buttons down until you hear another beep. And then it's ready to go. It's on. And so you turn on, click that button. And then left, right? Faster. And it'll beep once it's full speed. Go slower. Set it off. That's all she wrote. Now, I did get the pinpoint for this, so I'm going to have to take I went ahead and sync this remote, so I have a backup in case the pinpoint's not working or the pinpoint remote is. The reason I bought pinpoint separately is so I can have an extra remote, because the remotes are, I think, about $80 to $100. So, and it was the same price if you bought them separately. You just got to put them together. So I figured for the $80-100 I save on an extra remote, I would go ahead and just buy them separately. Plus, the pinpoint was actually on sale on Amazon when I bought it. So with the pinpoint, it's not much here. This will go in the head of the motor, and this will go down in the body, and then people run that through the cable here. So go ahead and take the head off, get this mounted, and then we'll take the bottom part off and we'll get this mounted. So go ahead and do that. Okay, to disassemble this, there's 5 screws on the back side of this that you got to take out. And remove the cap here. You take that out. And then there's already a place in here to mount it. So up, up. And then you just stick your screws in here. And then on the back side, move around over here. There's actually a little spot right there. You can see for this cord. I'll go ahead and run that through here, like so. Put that back in there. Then we'll put the top back on. And then put the screws back on top, and then we'll move to the bottom half. Once you've taken off both sides, push the pedal down. Be careful, there's wires attached to it, so you don't want to pull those out. Like so. Take this off, so you can see that. Attach this shorter cable. Line that cable up. That's on there tight. Everything's good there. We've already got a spot in here for it. Slides in like that. Push that down there like so. And this wire is to attach to another. You have the system that allows you, the fish finder that allows you to use like mapping and things like that. I don't have that right now, so I'm going to try to just push this up in here. Place this. Slide that down first. Feel secure. Then replace the sides. Okay. Sits like that. Now we're going to sync the pinpoint remote as well. Okay, so I'm going to have to do this kind of quickly, so you can't see all of it on camera here. But I'm going to go ahead and connect the ground over here to the motor. You'll see the lights come on, and then we'll push these 2 buttons to sync it, and you'll hear a quick series of beeps. See if I'm quick enough to do it this time. Next, we're going to work on the battery box. I bought myself a Bauer, as you can see here. It's from Harbor Freight. It's for the toolkits. My crate I use for my fishing should be able to will sit right on top of this, and then you can lock it in. And then so I'll have my crate up here, my battery box below, and I'll have to do a little bit of adjustments to this. So for that, you can see here, I'll take these out, I'll lay the battery down. I will have to notch out a few of these here. And then I also have a few other things. Let me grab them real quick. One of the things I do is film. So I bought one of these. I'm going to hook up a light for one of them for my rear white light. And then over here, open that up here maybe. There we go. It's got 2 USB ports in it. One of these USB ports I'll be able to run my GoPro off of while I'm filming. And then the other one I may use for my rear light, the white light, or I may hook up the switch. So I'm not sure, but I'm going to put this in the side somewhere, you know, put it in the side of the box, hook it up to the battery as well so I can do it for that. So we're going to go ahead and take the stuff out of here, and then we're going to fit it to size. So I'm going to lay the battery down in here about right here. Problem is, it doesn't quite cut all the way. So I'm going to have to notch out some of this up here for it, and then I can put it down. I actually plan on using this side over here. I've also got to mount, here it is. So I've also got to mount this inline fuse right here, and so I can mount this inside here wherever I decide to mount it, probably right in here, and then it'll give me some extra storage. I think what I'm going to do is I'll just be able to put my battery charger on this side, just so it's always with the battery. I'll be able to take this box out completely, unhook it from the trolling motor, and take it inside and charge it. And then I'll put some, probably a little bit of foam around here to keep it from moving around. So I'm going to go ahead and get the oscillating tool out. I'm going to trim out some of this stuff, and I'll show you what it looks like when I get done. Okay, so you can see what I did here was I used this lower line here, and I just cut these off here on this side. And then I took out the dividers right here. I just made them flush. Now, sorry for the noise. Closes just fine. Now we've got a battery box, nice and secure. Now we get to wire it. After connecting the rocker panel and the USBs, I put a quick connect in there just so I could disconnect it when I'm not using it. Soldered the ends for all the battery cables. Next, I added the circuit breaker on the positive side, one positive in, one positive out. Running these through the side, just drilled a small hole. And then once I'm done with that, I'll go ahead and I will add the quick attach plug to the positive and negative so that I can easily connect it to the plugs that I'm going to run out of the back of the kayak and take the box off whenever I need it, which will be later on in the video. You want to make sure that the positive is connected to the red and the negative to the black wire, and then you'll hear a little bit of a snap when it goes in there, and you'll hear it lock into place. Then you're good to go. I also added a little bit of silicone around the wires once I got them all pulled. Okay, we've got the battery box put on. You can't see it, but back here in the back, I'll have the USB, and then I'll show you why I chose this. Okay, so why I chose this as my battery box. Open these up here. lock that in there. Lock that on that side. Can't see it over here. And then I'll secure it down. Fairly secure. So the next thing we want to do is we want to connect the power and the battery back here, the juice, to the trolling motor. So I'm going to run some wiring from here, and we're going to put another quick attach plug on it. Just plug it in here. It'll run through the boat up to the front. We'll come out with a quick attach for the trolling motor. Okay, so I got the last piece of the puzzle in here, which is running the wire out. I think I'm going to put it like right here, kind of out of the way of the lines that come through here. So I'm going to make a semicircle here, where I want it. Do a pilot hole. Make sure I not go through. Pretty much centered here. And we're just going to drill this out to 1 inch. Perfect. Go there like that. Perfect. Okay, so I added this end on here, same as adding the end on the battery box that we did earlier. Make sure you put these on. The kit I got fit 1 wire in each hole here pretty easily. So go over like this. Slide that in there. Takes a little bit of finagling. Says you don't need it, but better safe than sorry. I'm just going to put a dab of silicone around the back of this as well. Clean it up just a little bit. Let that dry overnight. Well, the last thing is, as you can see, this is a step on it. Well, since it's on the front of the kayak, it's going to be a little hard to do, so we're going to add a cable. I got some cable here. We're going to add a cable. I already drilled a hole down here. You can see here. Put a little pin in it. I'm going to run cord through here, run it down this rail underneath here, and try to bring it out right here. And so I can release that while I'm sitting down. Also, we'll be adding here a clamp so that we can let the motor down and pull it up from the seat as well, with a cable on it as well. Well, after drilling this hole and trying to run it through, not really work out. So scouring the internet, I found this as an option. Take off the side plate, put the cord right here, and pull. So that's what I did. And then I attached this. It's just going to help me pull the kayak back. And I think I'm done. I'm ready to go to the lake and try it out. So I'm going to load everything up tonight, go to the lake tomorrow, and it'll be about 2 seconds for you till I get there. 1.61 miles per hour. Piston spot lock. $16 3/4. Nice.